Hey everyone, this is Joyful Anime 19, and here's a what if video of what if Deku was the son of Rimuru Tempest. And you're all asking how does Rimuru end up in the My Hero Academia world? Well, here's a quick start of the storyline. It will be long and it will take me some time, but hear me out. Rimuru decides to go and visit the cave that he was in before when he reincarnated. He does that and he finds this cave. Even though he goes inside the cave, he finds this unexplored side cave, and he finds this portal, this ocean, but it isn't an ocean, it's a portal. He decides to go and tell the others about this, but he accidentally slips, and he ends up getting inside, so getting transported to My Hero Academia world. And it seems that even though he threw the rock in, it only takes living things. He ends up in the My Hero Academia world. He knows that this is a city. He knows that where he is at, it's a city, but it's not his world where he used to live before. And he sees these people with powers, and now he definitely knows this isn't his world. He goes around and he needs to get information about what's going on with this world. He goes into a cafe and goes on their computer. This cafe is also like a restaurant, so yeah, they also have computers where you can use. And he goes on the internet and he finds out that there are people with quirks, and that there's 80% that the number keeps growing, and blah blah blah, things like that. And now he's now up to date. But then he finds out another thing about this pro hero licensing exam, and so he's intrigued by this, and he decides to go there. And he leaves the restaurant and he decides to register for the Pro Hero Licensing exam. And the next day he does go. Even though he doesn't have a place to stay, he really doesn't feel any warmth. He doesn't actually feel cold. So he waits. He stays up and he waits. And it happens, he's at the Pro Hero Licensing exam, and everyone is like looking at him. Sorry, that was me. I drank the soda earlier. Okay, let me get back to it. Everybody is looking at Rimuru and saying that, so they're even letting kids in this? And Rimuru says, what are you guys talking about? I'm actually an adult. So don't even though my body may look like a kid, I am not actually a kid. And everyone is not surprised by this. So his quirk stops him from aging. That's a pretty useless quirk. Rimuru ignores this, and the examination, the testing thing, where they have to write down about everything they like to see how smart they are. Rimuru passes, and then the mock battle begins. Everyone fights off these robot villains. Like in the UA entry exam? Yeah, like those. UA is actually helping this Pro Hero Licensing exam thing. So, yeah. Rimuru is like there. He takes down so many robots, and everyone is dumbstruck. I guess I'm gonna judge this guy's quirk. I should probably make sure he doesn't outshine me. Everyone thinks of this as it's the same way. And then, well, they don't have a 0-pointer robot. They don't have them out yet. But the testing is over, and then they slide, and now it's rescue missions. And we all know the company called Hog or Hug. I don't know. Who cares? And Rimuru also passes, and now they're even more. They're dumbstruck that this guy's quirk is not only good at combat, but it's also good at rescue missions. And they also go to the capturing the villain, and Rimuru also passes that, and everybody decides to get pumped up and says, I am not going to let this guy outshine me. Everyone agrees with this, because they're all thinking it in the same thing in their mind. Then the whole tests happen, and Rimuru is also good at infiltrating enemy bases and befriending the enemy and acting like he's befriending the enemy and things like that, and other things that a hero should be able to do and things like that. And the teachers and the exam teachers is actually really happy that there's someone with a quirk like this, like Rimuru out there, and that they're happy. And when the Pro Hero licensing exam ends, Rimuru finally gets his Pro Hero license, and they ask, what is your hero name? They give him a paper of what his hero name should be, and they give it to him, and he's wondering what his hero name should be. Comment down below of what Rimuru's hero name should be, because now I'm thinking it in my mind. And Rimuru has already thought of a bunch of names, but he doesn't know if it's good, so he's going to go with one. And he picks his hero name. It's called Mr. Slime. We're just going to go with that. And they said, are you sure? This hero name will be yours forever. And Rimuru knows that and figures this out, and he says, yes, I'm sure. And they decide to write it down, and his Pro Hero license is given to him. And they said, now that you have a Pro Hero license, you can now use it for emergencies, to use your quirk for real emergencies like rescue missions or combat against villains. But remember this, even if you lose it, we have another copy here just in case. But remember, it's hard to get a replacement Pro Hero license in case if yours gets destroyed or if you misplace it. It's a real pain to get a new one. So make sure you don't lose it. And Rimuru agrees with this. And so he goes on in his new life as a Pro Hero. And he decides to revisit, and when he's out patrolling the streets, he sees a villain is doing another act of evil and things like that. It's a guy with a gigantification quirk, and he decides to take him out, but he sees that he has a hostage, and it's a woman with green and black hair. And Rimuru decides that he can't stand around, he needs to go ahead and fight. And so he walks up behind the villain and grabs his when he grabs onto him, everyone is relieved and sighs with relief and things like that. And he also takes the woman named decides to and grabs Inko from the villain's clutches, and he puts her down. He puts her down onto a building, and he put on the ground and takes down the villain. And Rimuru says, "Are you okay?" And Inko is actually blushing right now and say, "Yes, I'm okay." And Rimuru is also feeling this deep connection with her. You should really be careful. You never know what's gonna happen next, and well, things like that. We decided to time skip, and Rimuru and Inko are married, and they have a kid, and so, well, I'm gonna leave that off, and I'm gonna save that for the next part. Save that for the second part of this video.